Everyone. Hope you had a wonderful day. Yesterday we briefly mentioned the machlokas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. The idea that Beis Shammai says on the first night, each person in the home lights 8 candles, and every night, one less, 7, 6, 5, until they get down to 1 on the last night. And we know we do the opposite. We follow Beis Hillel. Mahadrin mina mahadrin, that each night, each person lights the number of candles that is corresponding to the night. Tonight, each person in the home will light 5 on the level of mahadrin mina mahadrin. We may be familiar with these positions, this debate between Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai, but what's behind these positions? So the Gemara explains that Beis Shammai's rationale for going downwards relates interestingly to the parim, to the bulls that were offered as sacrifices in the temple on Sukkot, which were offered in descending order. On the first day of Sukkot, 13 bulls were offered, then 12, 11, 10, all the way to the last day where 7 were offered. The 7 days of Sukkot, and if you add up these bulls, totals a total of 70. And Beis Hillel's rationale follows a much more simple and famous concept. Malin b'kodesh ve'ein moridin. We add holiness, and we don't, God forbid, regress. We don't go downwards in holiness in matters of kedusha. Beis Hillel's position is not hard to comprehend. It's a well-established approach and definitely relates to matters of holiness, like lighting Chanukah candles. But what do animals sacrificed in the temple on Sukkot have anything to do with Chanukah candles? What's Beis Shammai talking about? And why don't they just accept the seemingly simpler approach of Beis Hillel, definitely more connected to Chanukah? Why are they talking about Sukkot and Korbanos? So the Nesivos Shalom explains that on Chanukah, we know 2 miracles really happened, and there's 2 separate and distinct aspects of both of those miracles. The first miracle was the military victory, where the few defeated the many, the weak defeated the strong, the pure defeated the evil. And this is representative of the removal of evil, of the Sur Merah. And the second miracle is the miracle of the oil, where we saw the divine light shine forth miraculously for 8 days, when there was only enough oil to burn for 1. And so Chanukah contains both aspects, the Sur Merah ve'oseh tov, as the Pasuk in Tehillim tells us, shun evil and do good, the removal of evil in the military victory, and the adding of good, of goodness, of light, of kedusha, with the burning of 8 days instead of 1. And it seems like it's a 2-step process, as the pasuk says, Sur Merah, first remove the evil, and then only after you've done that can you engage in goodness, as the divine light can't shine through all the shmutz, all the muck. We have to remove that before we're able to oseh tov. But again, what's the connection to the bulls that were sacrificed? What is Beis Shammai thinking? So Chazal explained that we mentioned there were a total of 70 bulls. And Chazal explained that corresponds to the 70 nations of the world. And what the Nesivos Shalom explains is that the fact that there are 70 nations reminds us on a certain level that we're far from the ideal of having all human beings serve God on the same level. The idea that perhaps, I've given share on this in the past, perhaps the idea that there's only supposed to be one people, not a Jewish people and a non-Jewish people, just one humanity serving God altogether. It didn't work out, so we went to plan B. But the fact that there are 70 nations reminds us that we're at plan B and we're not on plan A, and we're not at plan A. That we're living to a certain level on a b'diavad level, on a non-ideal level, where we're not all serving God to the same degree. And therefore, to a certain degree, the existence of 70 nations represents a deviation from the ideal. And the removal of 1 bull each day of Sukkot, of offering 1 less bull, and therefore the removal of lighting 1 less candle on Chanukah, represents the idea of Sur Merah, of removing evil, the first step towards aseh tov, towards engaging in goodness and holiness. But Beis Hillel takes a different approach, that the ikar of Chanukah is the miracle of the oil. And so we focus on the latter half of the pasuk, on the oseh tov, on adding light, on adding holiness. And the Rebbes explain, and the Nesivos Shalom quotes the Hasidic tradition, that one way to Sur Merah, the aseh tov, is first to remove all the evil and only then add goodness. And another way is just to add so much tov that it definitionally scatters the evil. Right? If you have to remove a forest, you can cut down tree by tree, or you can just burn the whole thing to the ground. And we know we paskin like Beis Hillel, that we add 1 candle each night. Tonight when we light out 5 of our candles, We paskin that we adopt the approach of asa tov, add so much good, so much holiness, so much kedusha, that it obliterates the evil. Don't spend your time trying to remove this bad thing or that bad thing. Add so much positivity, so much light, so much holiness, that even the evil that's just lurking in the corners, the schmutz in our lives, that we need to get rid of, scatters. It can't handle the light. It can't handle being revealed. So my blessing to us all on this fifth night of Chanukah is that we're able to burn down the forest. We're able to add so much light and kedusha to the world that evil can't coexist and has to definitionally be removed. A happy Chanukah, a holy Chanukah. May we continue to be blessed with the light and simcha that emerges from these holy days.